Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video. 2026 marks the 40th anniversary for one of the biggest RPGs in the world, Dragon Quest. The year started off with a bang with Square Enix releasing Dragon Quest VII Reimagined. This game just has such a gorgeous art style. I would love if they remade other games in the series in this art style. But that's not all we got for the 40th anniversary, as we got a special update recently regarding upcoming games. I thought that this showcase was going to be a bigger deal. Maybe have like 5 announcements or something. Not necessarily game related, but at least have some other announcements included. But I'm glad we got some kind of news, even though it was just 2 announcements. First, let's start off with the lesser of the 2 reveals, Dragon Quest Monsters: The Withered World. This sure was an announcement, alright. I really don't have much to say other than Dragon Quest Monsters is getting another sequel. They didn't show off any gameplay or talk about any new features. They basically just said, here's the thing that's coming out soon, which makes me think that it's further out than we think. Personally, I'm not the biggest Monsters fan. It just never really clicked for me, but I'm glad fans are getting a new entry. And who knows, maybe I'll gravitate to this new one. Alright, let's move on to the big elephant in the room, Dragon Quest XII. Now, this reveal has been met with mixed reactions. Rightfully so in my opinion. But before we get into it, if you like this video, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe for more content like this. So with that out of the way, let's get into it. So this was kind of crazy news. Dragon Quest XII, The Flames of Fate, was essentially scrapped and development had to restart. We don't know exactly when this decision was made, but man, it's so disappointing to say the least. The original idea for Dragon Quest XII was for a more darker and mature game, but that's not the case anymore, as it's been scrapped with this new game as the result. I'm kinda shocked that they completely started over. At least this time they showed off gameplay with the reveal, which wasn't much, but it gives us an idea of what the game will look like. Now before I get into the negatives, I do want to talk positives because these environments look stunning. And the lighting looks incredible as well. You can tell that this footage is still early in development, but so far, it looks really good. Except for the main protagonist. I'm sorry, but I really don't like this design for the new hero. I didn't really like the design for Dragon Quest XI's hero, but I kinda understood where they were going with that one. This one just isn't clicking with me. I get that his tired eyes kinda ties into the game's subtitle, Beyond Dreams, but I still can't get behind this look. It just looks off to me. However, the other characters shown off look pretty good. I'm curious to know what this little dude's deal is. I wonder if he is actually just the protagonist, but in a different form. Almost like how Dragon Quest X has your character going through a transformation, completely changing your character's look. Maybe this guy is the protagonist, but in like a dream world or something. But who knows, they kinda have the similar hairstyle and also the same sword, so maybe there's something there, but I digress. While we're comparing things, it's interesting that the settings and locales that were shown off bear a striking resemblance to Dragon Quest IX, out of all things. For those unaware, Dragon Quest IX was released back on the DS, and to my knowledge, has been this weird, unique entry in the Dragon Quest franchise. I personally love it. It is my favorite Dragon Quest game. But over the years, I thought the general consensus was people not liking this one as much. Kinda looking at it as like the black sheep of the franchise. And to be fair, for a super traditional series like Dragon Quest IX kinda introduced a lot of weird elements like multiplayer and a ton of customization to you and your party. But going back to the locales, I didn't even see the resemblance to these locations until I saw other people's reactions online. Like this shot looks an awful lot like Angel Falls, which is the first location you go to in Dragon Quest IX. Like the layout and everything looks very similar. Then we have this castle that looks an awful lot like Stornway, which is one of the first big cities you go to in Dragon Quest IX. I don't know, the more I look at this trailer, the more I'm convinced that this is set in that kind of timeline in either Dragon Quest IX, Dragon Quest X, it's somewhere in that timeline. And if that's the case, man am I more excited for this game. Goofy looking protagonists aside, I am really excited for a new Dragon Quest game. And while it's so unfortunate that they had to scrap development and restart the entire process, I am still excited for a new mainline entry to the series. But because they're restarting this whole development, it makes me think that this game is still ways off from ever releasing. Like, I'm thinking maybe 2 to 3 more years. I mean, they showed off gameplay, but even the gameplay seemed a bit lacking in the sense that, like, they didn't show off combat, they didn't show off, you know, what's in these towns or cities, except for the Angel Falls looking one. But it just seemed like they were like, okay, here's something to show you, and then we're gonna go back and develop the rest of the game, which is fine, but it does seem like it is further off than I would have liked it to be. But I could definitely be wrong in looking into it. We did see the main character and what looks to be his party, essentially. So who knows? Only time will tell. I'm a little mixed personally, even though I just said I was super excited for it, but only because the locales and locations and the more people theorize about it being tied to Dragon Quest IX, that has me excited. I don't know, just the protagonist looking a bit off, and yeah, the environments look great, but I'm just interested in seeing how this all shakes out. Because I was actually really curious on what direction they were going to take the original game, The Flames of Fate. I was really curious to see how they're going to shake up the formula, but now we're back to that formula, which is fine, which is great. I like that formula, but I was really interested in seeing what they were going to do to shake it up. Hopefully this game introduces new mechanics and maybe new traversal, because as we saw in the trailer, that protagonist can jump. Like, he flew off that rock, so maybe there's some more verticality and maybe some climbing, or, you know, maybe some platforming here and there. I don't know, that'd be really fun to see more of that. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. I'm curious to hear your thoughts. And with that, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time. God bless.